feeling that. I'm feeling that. Like back in the days of New York underground, when we were having the conversations to the music. You feeling that?
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. Improvisation in conversations with percussionist extraordinaire, Mr. Kenny Sarah.
You know, you have to end it.
That's what
like
I'm
that.
talking about.
You got to end it, you know.
You got it.
You gotta
Because
have a
everything has a beginning, a middle, and an
You
end.
have to have a beginning, you have to have an end.
Oh, man. See, he start off deep. You work with people. You've worked with Benny Maupin, who I interviewed.
Oh.
You've worked with his ensemble. What was that like, and how did it begin? Have you known him for a long time?
It's interesting because, you know, Benny and I started to exercise together back in '95.
Wow, exercise like
work
walk?
out.
Oh, really?
Like we would like work out like 2 times a week in Altadena, where Benny lives around the corner from me, and we go up like a trail and we like walk slow jogs. Then the next 3 days we would bike ride to the Rose Bowl and do like 5 laps. We were doing that for about 95 to 99, and in that period, Benny was getting an ensemble together. And he asked me what I play. And I said, yeah, sure, but we were in such great shape, But the one thing I would say, working with Benny in the present and all of the years, was that Benny has always been the pioneer of jazz fusion music. See, a lot of people talk about music and they talk about all the fusion, but if you start talking about the pioneering of jazz fusion music, Benny Maupin, the Headhunters, but at the same time, 1972, when I first heard Chameleon in New Orleans on a little small record player that we had, because we couldn't afford anything bigger than that. And what was so interesting about that was how the rhythm, boom, doom, 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 boom. That was like, wow, what's that? But that was a pioneering thing,
Yes, it was.
And everybody in New Orleans, all the bands, because we used to have ballad bands in New Orleans.
Oh, really?
Oh man!
Wow.
We had like City Park ballad bands, and it would be like thousands of people showing up out of the community to witness Battle of the Band. They pay like 50 cents.
Really?
And you get like a trophy, first, second, third place.
Aw.
And I was in a couple of Battle of the Bands, But one year, that was the hot song. Everybody had to play Chameleon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like,
Wow.
who's playing Chameleon? He's playing Chameleon,
man.
And
that was hot in New York, too,
yeah,
at that
you know
time.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And Benny Maupin's solo was the solo that everybody tried to copy.
Wow.
So that was it's kind of like going through the history of that, then also having these kind of journeys with Benny. It was like these spiritual journeys where he would talk to me about John Coltrane. He would talk to me about Max Roach. He would talk to me about all these people because he was there.
He was there.
And I'd be, my headphones are big now because this is just this kind of focus,
Yes.
But I really think Benny's music is even interesting. When we played the last job, it was Blue Whale. What I really recognized, there were so many people in there, that people were there to witness a spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
Because
I
they're
was
not
there
getting
for that.
Yeah, they're not getting that in an environment. So, it's almost like this kind of magnet of spirituality that people are searching for in music. They're searching for in dialogue.
They are.
So the music in Benny's music is the dialogue. So Benny's music is just a spiritual journey, but in Benny's music is the intensity of the past to the present to the future. this particular CD was a tribute to my childhood growing up in New Orleans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I had an epiphany one day. So I think I want to do something, and I just kind of remember all of the churches because my cousin, they lived in the uptown area of New Orleans, and there was like a Pentecostal church across the street from them. Boy, you talk about some great tambourine players in there.
Really?
I mean, we would just sit on the porch and just kind of hear the tambourine players. It would just be like,
Oh, wow.
and it'd just be like an 8-hour thing, and the drums and the bass, and you can see where they carrying people out, where people have passed out. They put water on put water on their face, and they jump back up, jump right back in there again. So this is kind of the CD that I really kind of dedicated to my upbringing in New Orleans and the cultural events that this is kind of like in a story and song telling about New Orleans.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. You explain the difference between an uptown musician and a downtown musician. I thought that was so fabulous. What is it? What's the difference as far as styles, playing styles is concerned?
The Creole musicians in New Orleans were considered the downtown musicians. So what happened when they got together, they only hired Creole men because they had to have a white color.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's divided that way. Uptown and downtown, basically, the dividing line was Canal Street. So when you go to uptown, you had more of the African type black literally black musicians playing. So how the Creole musicians, they were kind of learned. They knew how to read music. Whereas the guys that worked uptown, they just kind of did things from feel.
Okay.
So the uptown musician was really a raw kind of musician, whereas the downtown musician was a little more polished. Polished. But the thing about the uptown musician, from my growing up there, was that the uptown musician had such a feel. It'd just be like, take your shirt off.
See?
But the downtown musician.
Something about that uptown, something about that feel, something about that
uptown.
yeah.
But the thing was, the downtown musicians, they I don't think you were really allowed to show that because you had to have a certain dignity because you were Creole.